what they do to those sponges.
Working up here
Okay.
wasn't a bother about it.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Most definitely. Right? Yeah. So, I had a deer Saturday morning. And my husband had a, what is that? No, they're
You hit him with the
bringing
bike or hit him with the car?
on the way to a triathlon, and the deer ran off.
Hey, Mandy. Will you watch this? It keeps wanting to turn.
I wonder if, I don't know if this is an answer, but it will be maybe the construction.
The VO or the, what is it? Yeah. Yeah.
Lawrence, there's Lawrence.
There's one in Lawrence.
Yeah.
But anyway, the construction fields, I've got a few of their high school kids tied in with my construction workers,
Okay.
and they're working out real well. So I don't know if it's possible for houses to get.
Like hotel management or something like that wants to go in and.
Back in the day, they used to have big class. Nobody wants to do that.
Well, in construction now.
Like I said, I hear it. Yep.
19
Turn it off for now.
Oh, really?
Well, Corey, remember Corey was trying to get one from there.
He does, he has one.
So, but he had trades a hard time getting it. So the construction trades on the other it's fun. And see for these kids who want to learn.
Yeah.
So I never connected with one of my construction guys who needs help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he says to me,
You always own the bar or no?
What's that?
You always own the bar?
show up,
Yeah.
they want to learn, you know, they're not, they don't know it.
Yeah.
This fulfills that.
So he's there to have to train.
Anyone that's in the trades, they can write their own ticket to wherever they want to go, wherever they want to live. I mean,
I do.
It was her dream, but she
and the
loved
thing
it.
is, my nephew in high school,
In a
he
weird
went out
way,
to,
yeah. It's funny how
Cummins
things
Valley.
change. She wanted
He got his mechanics license his senior year because he had enough credits, but you know what the school pays for it?
to back in
Right.
doing.
So why aren't you using that right now? You don't even have a job. You can work anywhere. Yeah, she has.
So I don't know if I know Ryan, but I'm someone that was with me, and I have to.
It happened. Was it my
So what it is, like, every outfit was best for them.
I was in sales.
Dyslexic, so for Dan, read,
No.
ADHD,
Started sales.
OCD. So it's
Heavy
really hard
equipment.
for him. But he got into.
Did that for 10 years. Did fencing, automated gate entry systems for another 10 years. Neither one of those was very fulfilling. So I helped her chase this dream.
That is awesome. Wow.
Doing, you know,
Yeah.
everything, someone who's a Myers.
Yeah.
It's all live, ready to go.
Well, that's why I told Mike, I go, why don't you go to UPS
Well,
or
you have a
FedEx and
couple
work on
hundred
your
people
trucks as a mechanic?
I told a lot of people, a couple in Jersey, I said, we're just going to go to the street.
What time is this supposed to be at?
So they couldn't get that.
Huh?
We're going to start right now. And we're live right now, so we're going to start.
I know you mentioned this to me. Oh, look at him on his podcast. He does usually.
You still showing up?
I know.
Or are you just thirsty?
Well, he shows up as my
Yeah, we're gonna go to Yacht Club.
Yeah.
again, right?
Those are
do
people
that.
that we need.
Oh, we're not.
Well, you know, it's long at midnight, so they don't.
Never. That new guy, I don't like.
I was the same way with Dr. Henry. All my nights, weekends, I'd get out of bed and go if there was an accident or whatever. I didn't even hesitate.
You're not talking about a half hour, any questions from Claire? Manny, will you just keep an eye on the camera because it wants to drift one side or the other?
Okay.
And tell me when I have to speak up, because I was like a soft.
Well, we're kind of big man. So, you're good, Deb.
Okay.
Is she gonna be on the board too?
No. So he did some of the candidates last year, and now we're before you get on that account. What do you want to see?
All right, can you hear me?
I
Just
can.
want to make sure.
Yes.
Because I have a very soft voice.
No, loud and clear.
Okay.
Well, welcome everybody. Tonight is our second meet the candidate, and tonight's about jobs and talent attraction in the area. And we have Debbie Howe here from South Haven Business Hub Group, and we're going to talk a little bit tonight and discuss what South Haven is doing and can do more to attract small incubator style startups for the area, and go from there. So I'll let Deb introduce herself.
Hi, all. Thank you. Can you hear me? Thanks for the invitation. Yep, we're South Haven Regional Business Hub. We help businesses start and grow. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've started my own companies. My first one was 1989. So, you know, entrepreneurs are kind of like, should I start? Should I not start? How do I grow? Well, you need resources. I wish I knew me when I was running my company. So there are resources out there. I was asked 4 years ago to help start the new business development here in South Haven. We have a team of about 31 subject matter experts, financial advisors. So if you're looking to start a business, grow a business, you need to reach out because hopefully we can help you make that grow faster and smarter.
So Deb, I want to ask a little bit. One thing, a lot of people want to move here, and they go, okay, what do I do? I don't know even where to start. And we want to really check, because I think the days of looking for big manufacturing companies coming to the area and say, listen, they're long gone. Between not NAFTA, or what it's called now, and everything else, I think we have to look at the next generation of what idea do you have that can help and start our roots here and grow and support it. And Loda, tell me what the South Haven Business Hub can start with somebody who's looking, who wants to be in a small town, 2 hours out of a big city, but not in the big city.
Yeah, that's a very good question, and we have multiple, I want to say individuals who have done that by moving here. We have resources that say, from a business owner checklist, that says these are all the things you have to look at to start your business, and you can go to our website, you can find that checklist. Or, am I going to be an entrepreneur? Some of the truth and myths about being an entrepreneur are, oh man, I'm going to work less and make more money. No. Right?
Right.
Totally untrue. So, first make sure that you're in that mindset of being able to want to be an entrepreneur, being able to be an entrepreneur. And then we have all the resources available to go and start your LLC, whether it's an LLC or whether an S Corp, we can help guide you through that, to writing a business plan. And if you're here in South Haven, there's lots of opportunities because South Haven is a welcoming economy, ecosystem that wants to support young entrepreneurs that come here. Does that help?
So Deb, over your years that you've seen different communities and what they're doing to attract small businesses to grow, what have you seen that they're doing that South Haven could actually learn from, take a chapter of, and help implement here?
We were talking about that today with some of our mentors that we have here in South Haven, and mentors are so important. So if you know of anybody who wants to mentor, you've started your own company, grown your own company, and you want to mentor somebody along the way, I want to tell you, mentors are the most common denominator in helping a small business succeed. If you walked on those shoes, you can help guide somebody else through those shoes. And you just don't know how important that is. So in any community, and I told Brian this before, the most important thing, and my tagline is, it takes a local community to build an entrepreneur. It takes all of us. It takes our financial institutions, it takes our college institutions, it takes all of us who are out in the streets who know somebody. I mean, I had one company grow by being introduced through a mentor to people at Maya who could buy her product. That's huge, right? So it takes an entrepreneur, just not one person. It takes all of us to kind of say, let's wrap our arms around these young entrepreneurs who can create such a strong ecosystem here in South Haven.
That's good. We got some business owners here tonight, which is great. They can attest that when you go to work for yourself, it's a lot more hours by the time you break it down your hours per day. But I want to also thank Scott and his staff here for opening up the downtown down area here in is it called the River Bottom, Scott?
Yes.
It's called the River Bottom. And you haven't been here yet. It's great. It's a speakeasy. It's a nice, relaxing area. So the hours are Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Thursday through Sunday, 5 to 11-ish.
Thursday through Sunday, 5 closing-ish.
Yes.
So if you get a chance, definitely come down here and check it out. It's a great local establishment. It's brand new. You'll enjoy it. It's something you see in other communities that are larger. And it's great to have something like this. And that's another thing, is a local business expanding and moving out, which is great. The next thing I want to ask you is, if somebody's looking and they just, they kind of got an idea, but I don't know where to start. And this could be anybody, it could be an 80-year-old person or somebody just out of high school. What would you suggest for them to do? People can start their business here in South Haven.
Okay, now the first three things. One, you have to form a legal entity. But before you do that, make sure, and we talked about this a little bit before, you really know the truths and the myths about starting your own company. But then there's three people you really need to have on your side. One is an accountant, because you really need them. One of the things we know from any business start, they're really, really good at what they know technically, whether that's be a product or a service, but they don't know as a financial side of running their business. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that are losing money because they don't calculate their time into it as well. So get an accountant, get a banker, all right, and get a legal advisor. And some of that is, depending on your organization and what type of company, but you really need those three support organizations. Go to our website and you'll see a business startup checklist in there that kind of makes you follow, but also a business plan. No financial
And that's one thing that I got a story. There was another business owner who was actually in New Jersey tonight. He messed up his schedule, couldn't make it here. But the nice thing is he had a local shop here. He did very well. And he took his brewery. He always wanted to expand. He didn't know where or how. Well, Granville downtown, they lost one of the brewers. So the city actually reached out to all of Southwest Michigan, to other breweries, and said, if you're interested, we have an open spot downtown. We'd love to collaborate and work with you to come here. He met with them, and of course, he did his due diligence. He read everything like he does anywhere he goes, and he went in front of the city council. They were so impressed that he actually named his new brewery Oaktown, and this is in Granville. And the city fathers and mothers did not even know that Oaktown was the original name of that city, and that's where they used to have oak caskets that went down the Grand River, from what he was telling me. It was very nice because when he's telling me this story, he's happy, he's excited, and this city actually, not only brought him in, they got him over $200,000 worth of grants to help him. They promoted him before he even opened it up, so they brought him downtown to serve his beer to a party in the city. And even a lot of times, Granville, the local church downtown have him support and promote an event, which is neat. So it's nice to see a community that's actually actively looking out to bring in other businesses to their area. And it's something I really want to see South Haven. I know they do it, but I'd like to see them get to that level where they know that if there's somebody looking to come out there to be a part of the community, they're saying, all right, we want you, let's look at your business plan. How can we help you start here and grow? And that's going to bring in more employees as they grow, more housing, more people for our schools. And that's what I really want to see our town get to. We have a great tourism economy, and we can have both an economic one that's not tourist-based and the tourist-based. Yeah. What would you add to that, Deb?
Yeah, you have to, and thank you for mentioning that because, again, my tagline, it takes a community to raise an entrepreneur. And that means city officials, local people who live here, everybody, welcome these people with open arms, help support them in any way you can. because it's so critical. They kind of feel welcome, or our young people won't come here. They really won't. You gotta welcome them with open arms.
I agree. And when you're starting out and you're in your garage, or you know, just looking for a little place to get out of the home because you're tired of working from home because it's just, you know, kids and laundry and everything else. There's great little spots like downtown on Broadway. You got the Think Park, where you can go up there and rent a small cubicle for the day to get work, get away. And there's another one over there on William Street in our old Central 21 office that's doing the same thing now. You can actually have your own office with a door so you don't get distracted from other people on phone calls. So there's a lot of things we can do, and definitely reaching out to Deb or myself or anyone else in the city to try and get out there. Chamber's a great one to do as well.
Yes.
And I even think just talking to Trent and General with the Visitors Bureau, there's a wealth of knowledge that you can do. One thing I wanted to ask, is there anyone out here that had any questions or comments that you guys wanted to add that you're looking forward to, or what you'd like to see from the city officials that are coming up? You gotta come talk on the mic though.
Did you? It's on.
Thank you, Jeremy, for setting us up on the mic.
You're welcome. And just gotta figure it out. Hi, Brian speaking, 525 Green Street. I just want to know if you know why, if I drive through Holland, New Zealand, every time there's a new building going up, and they seem like they got businesses coming out of their ears exploding, and we got nothing.
Gosh, I wish I did. I grew up in Holland, so I'm not sure. I'm not an economic developer. I was brought here to help with business development. So that's a great question, and I guess more for our city officials. Because I don't know anything about zoning and all that kind of stuff.
Thanks. It's a great question, and one I hope we get an answer to too from them. One thing is I can say, at least from what I've seen and talked to other communities, is you got to have your housing, you got to have your infrastructure, and I think larger cities have some advantages, whether it comes to tax rates or other things. But I agree, we are a great community. We're 2 hours out of Detroit and Chicago. We're a great location. We have a lot of cheap land when you go towards Covert. And I always thought it'd be a great land for, it's cheap, it's by highway. We had 2 power plants at one time that could have brought in some great businesses for the area. But that's long and gone. But we still can do something, I believe, with growth in the area. It doesn't have to actually be in the city proper, but something that surrounds our community, and we can get people to come, even if they commute, say, to Whirlpool or Bosch or other places, to promote our town for living and growing. Because that's really going to be our survival for the next generation. Would you add anything to that?
No, I agree. I think the younger generation, you want to make them come here. The Young Professionals Group that was started by Griffin Graham out of the city of South Haven is a great group, and they grow and they grow and they grow, and they feed on each other and look at opportunities. And many of them have helped support with their organizations. So and I just keep going back to as a city, as South Haven, we just gotta wrap our arms around them and help them in any way we can, all of us.
I was a member of the YPN for a while, and now I'm in the old PN, the old people's network.
Nothing more than I said anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed.
Yep, can't go in. But, and it's a great thing. So I promoted that the other day because I think it's a wonderful thing for our community to have. And I was actually impressed with the number of young people who are doing business or want to do business in the area. So that's the nice thing we have in our community. Now we can foster that and support that. And in the meantime, I just want to make sure that whatever we can do, that you talk to the city officials, talk to Griffin, talk to Kate, talk to them, tell them what you're looking for and how we can help promote that. Because I really see our communities thriving in the future. Sustainable economic growth, being an incubator community that reaches out and attracts the smart people who want to come in and do something, who have the new ideas for the next generation to live off of. I really think that's going to be important for us as we go forward. Because, all it takes is, for our tourist industry, all it takes is a couple bad seasons of cold, wet rain, and it throws us all off. So it'd be nice to have something also on the side. Well, as much as I love the tourist industry, you always want to have a source.
We do need alternate sources of income, and we do all love the tourism industry, but you have to support that with other individuals who want us to be sustainable and grow their businesses here.
Well, if somebody wants more, yes, Carol.
Hi there.
Does she have a camera? Come on, cameraman.
So, Carol Ann Mapawaki Hall. I am owner in Inns of South Haven, which includes Inn at the Park Bed and Breakfast and the Watersview Inn, which is across the street from the beach. I'm in the tourism industry, but I've always felt strongly that it's not just about me and my business. It's not just about this restaurant and other restaurants in town. It's about big picture community. And one of the reasons we bought the Watersview Inn was because we didn't want to go to the wrecking ball and be just more condos. I do agree we need more affordable housing, but what I would like to know is how we can get the city to be a yes answer instead of always a no answer. It feels like when you go to the city with any kind of idea, the immediate answer is no, because that's the easy answer. And they have the easy button right there on the table. And it should be more of a yes, let's check into it. Just because you say yes doesn't mean that you carte blanche, they get everything they want. It means we're open to growing our community. And industry is not necessarily the way to do it, it's bringing in other small businesses. Because the world has changed. With the internet and with COVID and with so many other things, we need to, like you said, open arms, not just to tourism, but to new business. So how do we get our city planners to be a little more open-minded, like Ryan?
Well, like Ryan.
I'll add to that. I have talked to a few local businesses that started out, and they had the same feelings. They said, I didn't feel welcome. I felt it was an automatic no, you show me why we should support you. And it was a fight the entire time. Where, like a story like I said in Granville, we're going to tell you yes, and we'll work on that later on what we can and can't do for you. But it's not the first time I've heard that. We have to change that. We want people to know that we are a welcoming community for economic growth. And not that, oh, no, we're a small town, we don't want that here, we don't want that. What would you say to that, Bill?
Yeah, I we have to be. We have to be welcoming arms. Whoever it is, whatever it is. We all, from the city to us individuals, to everybody who works here, who's employed here, we have to have welcoming arms. Or the city will not be here 10 years from now. We really won't. And you have to have that diversification. And individuals, you know, as I call when I talk to a lot of these individuals who want to start a company, they want to start a company. They just need the help and the support to do it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here, to help to support to do that. Ryan's here to help from, you know, I don't know anything about city politics. I never have. When I first moved here, I go, I'll sit down and throw into city politics because I want to see the economy grow.
Yes, nobody wants to do city politics. I don't think anyone strives and wakes up in the morning and go, one day I want to be a city politician. I think they get pushed into it because they want to see a change. And there is a number of people who are running this year, and although we all have different views on how we're going to get there, I think we all want the same thing. Again, we want a successful, sustainable community for all, right? And now things, we just got to find how we're going to get to that here where we want to be. Anyone else have anything they would like to say or talk about?
Parking.
Parking, that was a fun one, isn't it? Parking is an interesting one because downtown, you know, you had streets that were so wide and they made a wider sidewalk, and unfortunately, what gave way was the parking gave way to the wider sidewalks. And unfortunately, there's nowhere to the buildings back. So we're kind of stuck with that for a little bit. Hayes, anything from you back there? Because I would like you to say something, because you are a young family, you moved to the area, and you've opened up numerous businesses since you've been here.
Want me to come out?
Yeah, I would love for you to come out. I mean, you are probably exactly what everyone says they want to attract. The town is a young family, and somebody's an entrepreneur. And I would just like to hear your thoughts on what you've gone through and what you'd like to see for the next person that comes, that how they could be treated and helped as well.
Thanks. Hi everyone, I'm Hayes Greer. My wife Ashley and I and our son Miles moved here a year ago. We invested in real estate here in town, and since then, we've started 2 businesses here in South Haven. One is called Lake Michigan Home Services. We provide preventative home maintenance as well as pool and spa maintenance locally, and then the other company is called Lake Michigan Linen Services, where we provide linen supplies to bed and breakfast, hotels, short-term rentals, pretty much hospitality industry. Since my wife opened that business in January, she has hired 11 employees and outgrown 2 buildings, and we're looking for a 3rd large permanent business, and hopefully we can call South Haven home. I heard you say, there's a lot of land available. What I would like to see from the city is a real plan and agenda for economic development where they will provide great incentives, or at least provide a channel for incentivizing people to develop new properties here, either redevelop existing properties that are dilapidated or build new. That has been one of our challenges, is finding space that could accommodate not only where we are today, but where we see ourselves being 5 years from now. So economic development, I think, is a huge point. I've heard you guys touch on that a little bit here today. And also diversification of the economy as well. So from where we stand, it's been really nice getting to know people in this community. When we first moved here, we didn't know many people other than my family, who spends seasonal time here. We've gotten to know a lot of people, and a lot of great people. We've made many friends. My child's made many friends with kids in the families in the school district. It's a really vibrant community, and there are young families moving here. Enrollment is increasing at my child's school, which is awesome. They're 127% increase in the last 5 years, so that's great to see. But I think what the city could work on is, like I said, creating channels and outlets for people to bring new business here, as well as with business needs to come housing as well, and diversification of housing, I think, is really important. So that's what I'd like to see. I don't have any answers, but I guess those are my questions, and where we could go from here. Yeah, thank you.
We're glad you're here. Right? We're glad you're here. Honestly, the last week, I've talked to 3 individuals who've moved here, probably around your age, to help support their family businesses and make their businesses grow. So that's exciting. It really is.
And I love hearing this, Hayes, because you've grown so much that you're now expanding again. And one thing, grew up here, moved away. When I left back in 1993 when I graduated, the school was going in decline then for state enrollment. And to hear that it's back up, and I've heard that from a few people, which is great to hear finally. But the other thing too is, just looking for other ways that we can help others come here and move is going to be the best thing. And hearing from you, your success stories, and how we can take what you've done, and then I would love for you to sit in with the community and say, okay guys, this is what you did for me. I would really needed this from the city to help us make an easier transition starting up here and supporting us here. And I'd love to see that. Kim, anything from you?
No.
Okay.
Nothing for me. But hello, everyone.
And I will say too, when I was in real estate, you get to meet a lot of different people that come in, and all over, different scales. It's awesome to meet new people. But one thing is when you get into the property management, what we are doing now, and you start to see how intertwined everyone is, from the local businesses that cater to our tourism to our locals who are cleaning the places, the maintenance crew, the lawn care, everyone that's involved. And then just going to a development last night, we went over to Harbor Club, and we sat there and we talked to one of the owners, and we looked at all the connection fees that were done. And that's all recent in the last couple of years that have paid in the system. The property taxes, the local people who are there working on the places, and just seeing how much that has brought to our economy. And from what I'm seeing with the destination community, it's not going to stop. But we got to be smart about how we go in growth. And we have to make it sustainable, and we definitely want to make sure it's for everyone. We don't just want to high end. We don't want to have a town that's just a bunch of millionaires that leave 8 months out of the year and leaves our downtown destitute. We want to make it so it's surrounded all year long. Yep, diversity. And I believe we can get that done. And as you said, it's gonna take everybody to work together to make this happen. No name blaming, nothing like that, but work together and have a common goal. And I would say you work on 3 things, you get those done, and you work on the next 3 things and get that done. Versus trying to do 20 things at once. So, anything else from anybody? Definitely Scott, the proprietor.
Hi, I don't know if it's necessarily a comment, a question, or maybe a little bit of both, but from our standpoint, owning a restaurant in town, when we're talking about the housing, although I don't live in town, I do own 2 homes in town, and the reason that I own 2 homes is to provide housing for my staff. That almost sounds absurd to me. And where I do live in Douglas, there's restaurants that are not open certain days of the week because they refuse to do what I do in providing housing for their staff. They'd rather just say, we're going to close for a couple of days. I know what certain people say about the reason that we're in this position and why things are the way they are with regard to the housing. All I ever hear is the negative. I don't hear anybody having a solution or anything to get us out of where we're at, to make anything affordable enough to attract the staff that we are hiring, that typical wage. And some of it, honestly, it's not low wage. We're not talking low wage when it comes to restaurant staffing. So I don't know how we really got here necessarily, but I don't know how we're going to get out of where we're at. And something has to happen. We're at a point now where we're looking at buying a 3rd home just to staff the students that we bring in the summertime, which is 14 people in the summer. Where do we go? Where does it end? I can't keep buying homes and then also not be able to rent them out in the off season. So there has to be the ability for me to, for 13 weeks, to provide housing for the summer staff. I need to be able to short-term rent these homes in the off season. And if I can't, what am I doing? I'm praying that I'm going to make enough money to sustain that. That doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know how much longer we can continue to do that. Yeah, we did this down here. Is it going to be sustainable for 10 years, 20 years? I don't know, based on where we're at today. So that's where I want city staff to really be looking at where are we at, what are we doing. Thank you.
And it's nice because he's open 7 days a week because of this.
And that's one thing, I think every candidate that's running for any position is looking for a resolution for that and how we solve that. As everyone knows, if you've read my page, the biggest thing, I think you have to go after zoning. You have to fix it. You have other towns like Douglas that allows ADUs, tiny homes, duplexes, townhouses. That's something that we can change and do. That just allows a cheaper source of people to live here. One thing I like about the ADU and tiny homes, I looked at some in Douglas and Saugatuck. They took just a small garage that couldn't fit a normal car today, but they made it into a living unit. And you're looking at 400, 500 square feet, but you know what? One had his grandmother's mother living there, so she wasn't in a care unit, she was close by. And another one was a retired person who had a college kid working in the summer there, so they had extra income coming in, and they actually felt a little safer because they had somebody in there, and it was close by. So there's a lot of different things that we can do. There are a lot of homes in South Haven that were built that have garages that want to be finished off, that would provide mid to long-term housing for workers or family members or whoever. A new teacher comes to the area, or a doctor, or a policeman, or even fireman, somebody. And they have nowhere to go because they don't need to buy a home right now because they just moved here. They haven't had their job long enough. They can't afford a short-term rental, but they can do an ADU or a tiny home, and that opens up the housing in our area. And we really need to focus on getting our zoning up to snuff like other communities are doing. If not, we're never going to get the housing that we need.
I think being a resort town, some of those issues, and I'm sorry for being redundant, but it takes the community to look at all those. And maybe I shouldn't say this, but maybe I should. But as a business developer, there's the South Haven Hostel, who started right outside in the township. If we all could wrap our arms around her, it could be a solution. She is a remarkable young lady, and she can house up to 68. There's a lot of issues surrounding to get that up and started, but she can house 68 seasonal workers, very reasonably priced at her facility. But it takes a community to wrap our eyes around it. So, is that the ultimate solution? Maybe not. Is it one of the solutions? Absolutely yes. But she needs us as a community to wrap our arms around her and say, how can we help you make this happen? Right? So that's just one solution. Like Ryan was saying, there's others. I've seen the tiny homes be solutions. Lots of solutions. We just gotta wrap our arms around them and get them done.
Does she get a grant from the city?
No.
That's the biggest thing is she has a great idea. And you guys have not been out there. I got to walk through it. The transformation of that old church is amazing. I mean, they took the old church and then they took they had a pole barn. Yeah, next to it that they used to use to feed those that didn't have enough food. So it was like assembly line there. It was a very, very humbling thing to go in there and watch that. But then she gutted that whole thing to make bathrooms and bedrooms for people to stay. And unfortunately, that's a big, taunting task to do on your own, especially for somebody in their 20s. But she had the foresight to start that. She did it. And I think it's a great idea. I'd love to see actually finished off.
She needs us all to wrap our arms around her. You know, the biggest thing is fire suppression. But to get fire suppression and the fire suppression she needs is, you gotta dig under the road to get it now. So, she just needs to feel that we all support her. We know this is a thing we need in the community, or part of the solution, and just help build walls or give her $5,000 to get the fire suppression underneath there. But anyway, that's what a community does.
And you're 100% right at that. We need to start looking at
Is there any kind of funding for something like that? Should be.
That's a good. So Jerry asked if there is any funding for something like that, and that is something I believe that our city leaders should be looking at. And if they aren't looking at it, why are they not looking at it? Why don't they? Because that's something that we desperately need for worker housing, and they know it, and we have somebody right in our backyard wanting to do that, but they are doing it like Deb said, they need help.
She's literally $5,000 away from making that happen. That's
No,
it.
when it comes to, and we're just saying if somebody gave her 5 grand, because fire suppression, you guys know, is a very expensive part of your renovation.
Especially because she's gonna go under the road. It's $100,000.
100,000 easy, and then more probably to finish it off. Anything else from anybody?
I'm just saying, where is this location at?
It's the old church, Bob, when you go M43 out of town, just when you go over the viaduct and come down, it's right on your south side of the road.
So that's township then?
That is South Haven Township.
It is. She's a great young entrepreneur.
And that's something too we gotta look at too. As a community, yes, we are in city proper, but what the city of South Haven does affects our surrounding townships. So really, we might be the city, but we gotta be the stewards because we actually, what we do affects the surrounding township, whether it's South Haven Township.
We actually
Casco.
pay the taxes.
Right. Yeah. So we gotta make sure we all work together for a better future because it's not us versus them. They might not be able to vote here, but you know what? 80% of our downtown business owners, 80% live outside the city limits. But they're putting their money and their investment, their time and sweat equity into putting downtown beautiful and staying open. That counts for something. And they need to be included in these conversations. So, all right, guys, anything else? Ladies, it's been fun.
Lots of good questions.
Lots of good questions. It was a great night tonight. And I hope this got people thinking about what we want. And I hope you actually do go to your community leaders and ask them, what are you doing? If you're not doing anything, why aren't you doing it? Especially for the ones that have been sitting in office. What have they been doing? You gotta ask that. And for the new ones coming up, ask them. what is your plan to do something different? Because if not going to do anything different, what's the point? We've got to have action takers. Make a plan, get it approved, and move forward. You can't kick the can down the road anymore. We just can't do it as a community.
I agree.
All right, anything else?
I've got one.
Yeah, Bob. You got to come up with it.
I don't know if this has anything, I don't know if I'm asking in the right place or
Well, I
not.
might be embarrassed.
But, so my business, part of it, not a big part, a small part though, relies on cell reception. I know the AT&T, but they're set up on the people that live here year-round and not the tourism. So I've not checked into it, but I kind of wonder if the city could check in. I mean, they must know that we're, 6,000 people in the winter, is that what it is? Maybe 30,000 in the summer. So maybe they could check in to seeing if there's a solution to making it better. The reason why I'm saying that sometimes affects my business is that taking credit cards in the summer, which I just plain can't do downtown because nothing connects properly. So for what that's worth,
Right.
maybe they could look into that.
I agree. Okay. Well, that's very interesting because we know during the 4th of July weekend, it's hard to show a home because we don't have, our phones are bricks. We can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And that's something, and I've heard rumors that there was a 5G network coming. I don't know the specifics, but that's a good question, Bob, that should be answered because you're right, we gotta have a system in place that we can do the peak hours during the peak seasons.
Can I ask a
There was a
question?
Robin grant that Van Buren County was awarded, but I might be speaking out of turn, that will help with those issues.
Well,
But
why can't they put in another tower?
We're gonna have to find an executive from Verizon or AT&T and sell them a beach house. And then they'll know. Because I used to say the thing.
I mean, I think that's a simple question.
It is another tower. We gotta find
It's up
somebody.
and down the coastline though, I mean, it's not just here.
It is, and it's because I remember if I go to Saugatuck Douglas, the
Yeah.
service up there is completely different. So when I had
It's because of the water,
Yep.
because
Yep.
there's no towers out there.
And it's hard for a company, I think, currently to make the investment because we're such a small community on what their payback would be versus a Holland or Kalamazoo or, St. Joseph. But it's definitely a good question that we should be talking about with the city leaders.
I think I should get better reception on the water just outside of town.
Yeah.
So I think it's a thing of
Something
the
to
town,
do
in
with
the
the town
town,
and the
yeah.
water,
In the town.
sure.
All right, well, everybody, thank you very much for your time. Scott, thank you for you and your staff for hosting this tonight for us to talk and get to talk, just an open discussion about what we're looking forward to for economic growth and sustainability in the future. I'm Ryan Servatius. I'm running for City Council Ward 2. I appreciate your vote. And make sure if you're not in my council, check out all the great candidates we have going. I mean, everyone's different. They have their own views. Read them, check them out, and make your own decision and see who you vote for. And let's get our city going on the right track quicker than what we're doing right now. I think it's going to be a great future ahead of us.
And let's go for the dinghy poker room.
Team Poker is this weekend. All right, well, thank you, everybody.